Winter can be unforgiving, and for those of us in colder climates, it's more than just a season. It's a test of resilience. But through history, cultures and communities have developed incredible techniques for surviving and even thriving during the harshest winters. Today, let's dive into some winter survival lessons from history, drawing on the wisdom of the Amish and other groups who know cold weather better than most. Let's start with the Amish, a community renowned for its simplicity and self-sufficiency. Living without electricity and modern conveniences, they've perfected the art of winter preparation over centuries. Amish families begin their winter preparations months in advance. They store fuel like wood and coal, and they rely heavily on natural insulation. Unlike conventional homes, Amish houses are built for warmth, with thick walls and minimal windows to retain heat. They're experts in firewood storage, knowing the types of wood that burn longest and how to dry them for maximum heat efficiency. Another key aspect of Amish winter survival is food storage. Root cellars, canning, and drying food are all techniques they've refined over the years. Root cellars stay naturally cool and are used to store potatoes, carrots, and other root vegetables. Canning provides an essential supply of fruits, vegetables, and meats that can last all season. The Amish have mastered food preservation, ensuring that nothing goes to waste, which is critical when you're snowed in or cut off from resources. Long before European settlers arrived, indigenous communities across North America had already developed impressive winter survival skills. The Inuit, for example, are known for their igloos, which might look simple but are highly effective. Igloos are built from blocks of compacted snow, which trap air and create insulation that can raise the interior temperature above freezing, even in sub-zero conditions. The construction is brilliantly practical. Snow is a resource that's everywhere in the Arctic, and by shaping it into a dome, the Inuit maximize both space and warmth. For clothing, the Inuit traditionally use caribou and seal skins, which retain warmth even when damp. Indigenous cultures also relied on hunting and fishing in winter. Techniques like ice fishing, trapping small animals, and following the migratory patterns of larger animals were essential for survival. These skills were passed down through generations, adapted to specific environments. When settlers first arrived in North America, they faced brutal winters with few resources and little knowledge of the land. Many were unprepared, but over time, they learned techniques from indigenous people and developed their own methods. Cabins became a staple for early settlers. Thick logs provided insulation, and small windows minimized heat loss. They often built root cellars, just like the Amish, and grew hardy winter crops like potatoes and cabbage. The mountain men, fur trappers who braved some of the most extreme winters, were masters of fire building. They learned how to build fires that wouldn't smolder or go out in high winds, and carried tinder boxes with flint, dried moss, and pine needles for reliable fire starting. Layering clothing was another key lesson. Wool was a lifesaver. It retains heat even when wet, and was essential for both settlers and trappers. They layered animal hides, wool, and linen, creating an effective barrier against the biting cold. In more recent history, the Soviet forces during World War II faced some of the coldest winters in recorded history. Their winter survival strategies were critical to their success on the Eastern Front. Soviet soldiers had to make do with very few resources. They dug foxholes deep into the ground to escape the brutal wind, created small fires inside trenches, and used whatever materials they could find to insulate themselves. They also learned to conserve energy, moving slowly and deliberately to avoid sweating, which could lead to hypothermia if clothing became damp. Food was rationed, and calorie-dense options like grains and preserved meats were prioritized. A critical survival tip from these soldiers was simply understanding one's physical limits and focusing on conserving body heat. Their resilience was remarkable, and many of these survival techniques remain relevant for modern winter preparation. So, How can we apply these time-tested lessons today? Let's recap some of the most useful practices. 1. Build and maintain a warm shelter. Like the Amish and early settlers, focus on insulation. If you can't build a log cabin, you can still insulate your home by covering windows with heavy drapes, sealing gaps, and using heavy blankets to trap warmth. 2. Master food preservation. Canning, drying, and storing. Root vegetables are methods that have stood the test of time. Learning how to preserve food allows you to keep essentials even if you're cut off from grocery stores or supplies. 3. Learn fire building techniques. Mountain men and indigenous people had various fire starting techniques, a skill that's invaluable in extreme cold. Keep fire starting kits, learn the basics of building fires in snow or windy conditions, and make sure you practice. 4. Dress in layers. Whether it's wool, down, or modern synthetics, layering is key to trapping warmth. Avoid cotton, as it retains moisture, which can lead to hypothermia. 5. Stay physically and mentally resilient. Whether you're homesteading like the Amish or facing survival in extreme conditions like Soviet soldiers, conserving energy and maintaining mental focus are crucial. Practice mindfulness and stay calm to preserve both energy and mental clarity. Our ancestors endured some of the harshest winters with little more than fire, food, and resilience. By studying their lessons, we gain not just knowledge, but a sense of connection to their spirit of survival. So, as winter sets in, remember these time-honored practices. A little preparation and historical wisdom can make even the coldest season not just bearable, but conquerable. Thank you for watching. If you found these historical winter survival tips useful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who could use a bit of winter wisdom. Stay prepared, stay warm, and see you next time.